Okay, in this clip, we're going to be watching Sowmya from the back of the hoop. We're looking at her timing. She really times her cut well. So let's go. And then pause right here once I have the disc. And then watch, she waits for Jenna to clear before she starts cutting. She's like, okay, now it's clear. Now I'm looking at her. Now she starts her cut, which is great. That's perfect. So in this clip, we're going to be watching Courtney. She's cutting from the back of the hoop, and her cut is just a little too early. Steph's going to get the disc, so go ahead and play it. And she's cutting almost before Steph has even turned around with the disc, before she's looking. So even if she's open, she's not going to be able to get the disc because Steph hasn't turned around. So you can see right here, Steph is still turning and Courtney's already cutting. So it's just a little too early. We want to wait until you've engaged the thrower, like you've made eye contact. Another thing that happens is I want to watch Skittles. She cuts into the space, into the hoop, right as Courtney is cutting out. And I think, again, it's just a little too early because she pulls Sowmya into that space, and which muddles it up, makes it harder to get an open throw. So I think Skittles should just wait a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and play. Just wait a little bit longer to cut into that space. Okay, in this clip, we're going to be watching Baker cutting from the back. And again, it's a little early. So you can see she's cutting before Courtney even has the disc in her hand. So again, she's not going to be, even if she's open, Courtney can't throw it because she doesn't have the disc yet. So we just need to really be more aware about our timing of the cut from the back. Wait until the thrower has the disc and is looking at you, preferably. Okay, in this clip, we're going to be watching Baker and Skittles. So Steph's going to get the disc in front of the hoop, and again, Baker's cutting really early. She's cutting before Steph has the disc, and Skittles is also cutting at the same time, so it's pretty clogged. So let's watch it. So, you know, obviously when you're both cutting in the same space, it's going to be too clogged, and nobody's probably going to get it. So you don't want to clog so much, and we want to cut a little bit later. So play. Yeah, so it's clogged. Yeah, so rewind. And so one thing I want to highlight is that it's okay when you're the apex cutter to just be stationary for a while, to just wait. It feels unnatural to just be standing there, but that's what you have to do. You have to wait for the right moment. So go ahead. Yeah, you can see Baker's cutting before Steph has the disc. In this clip, we're watching Sowmya cutting from the back, and she does a great job of waiting until Jenna has the disc, and Jenna's looking at her. So let's play. Jenna's looking at her. She makes the cut. That was great timing. Again, looking at her, immediately makes the cut. Okay, again, we're going to be watching Sowmya in the back of the hoop cutting, and she's going to have great timing here. She waits until Jenna has the disc, and she makes a strong cut. Go ahead. She makes the cut, and we score, which is awesome. So I think that was great timing and really good all around. Great throw, great timing. So she has the disc, looks, cuts. Okay, in this clip, we're watching Skittles cutting from the back for Baker. And again, we're just going a little bit too early. You can see Baker doesn't quite have the disc yet, and Skittles has already started her cut. So go ahead and play it. So like now is about when Baker was ready to throw it, but Skittles had already made her cut, and so they weren't able to connect. So again, we just want to wait a little bit longer till we can make eye contact with the thrower, or at least see that they're ready to throw it before you make the cut. Okay, here we're going to be watching Sowmya's timing cutting from the back of the hoop. She has great timing here. She waits till I'm looking at her, and she makes a great cut. Strong jab to the bucket. And then Baker just plays really great defense and sticking with her. But the timing is just right. Okay, this is another example of good timing by Sowmya cutting from the back. So I'm going to get the disc, and here she goes. She has waited, and then she makes her cut. So it doesn't start until I have the disc and I'm looking at her. So I think that's a great example of good timing by Sowmya. good job rolling, and JJ uses the pick the correct way, so I just want to highlight it, so go ahead. So Sowyma's going to set a pick on Baker, and then she's going to roll, and she opens the correct way, and I think she would have been totally open. Let's see, watch. Okay, so here she comes, setting the pick. JJ's using it the right way, and then she's going to open up and roll, and she's wide open. So if Jenna had just waited a second, I think we could have gotten it in there to Sowmya. Okay, here's just like the perfect example of a really awesome pick and roll. So Skittles is going to come set a pick for Steph in the back of the hoop. Steph uses the pick correctly. She goes the right way. They switch. Skittles rolls, keeps me on her back, and she's wide open. And then Courtney's going to throw her a score. Beautiful. I mean, that's exactly what we want out of every pick and roll. That was so good. So let's watch it again. So Steph's in the back. Skittles comes in, sets the pick, rolls, wide open. I love it. That was great. It seems small, but she sets the pick, and then she rolls, and then she kind of sits there a second. She doesn't just run all the way forward quickly, which is, I think, what a lot of people do. She hesitates for a little and just kind of holds me there. And that's what I mean by kind of boxing out. When I talk about boxing out, she's like holds you there for a second to make it so there's more time for the throw. So I think this is just a really, really great roll by Skittles. Awesome. And I just had no chance of getting that. So, okay. In this clip, we're watching me set a pick for Sowmya, I think, down there. And what's going to happen is I roll, but I don't box Steph out, so I'm not open. So this is a really great example of good roll defense. Steph just jumps the roll and just doesn't let me box her out, which is great defense. That was really awesome. It was a great switch. And so, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That was really, really good. And I could have rolled, maybe if I rolled a little bit faster, I could have gotten around there. So maybe something I could have done better, but also just great defense by Steph. Okay, this is an example of a great pick set by Sowmya. So she's going to come up and set a pick on Skittles for me. So I'm going to run to the outside, and then she's going to roll correctly and open up to the disc. And so I just thought that was a really good example of a roll. She might have waited a little bit longer, kind of like Skittles last time hesitated a little bit. If she could have just, when she made the roll, stopped just for a second to give a little opening for the throw. That could have been a little bit better, but otherwise a fantastic roll.